Hello there, my name's John Duncan and I work for Castle Water. Castle Water are a licensed provider of Scottish water services. What that means is, just like in your house, how you have a choice of who supplies your gas and electricity between Scottish Power or EDF or npower, non-domestic premises in Scotland have a choice of who supplies the water services. So that's everything from shops and offices, hotels, nursing homes, factories, and bowling clubs have the choice of who the licensed provider for Scottish water services are. We're the UK's largest independent provider of Scottish water services, based in Blairgowrie and Ayr. We serve customers right across England and Scotland, from large high street brands right down to small shops in the high street, and lots of bowling clubs as well. And we're currently in our 5th year now of a supplier agreement with Bowl Scotland. We've transferred approximately 150 bowling clubs from Business Stream to ourselves, with an average saving of about 21%, and in cash terms that's approaching £250 of a cash saving year on year for each club, and cumulatively every year we're saving bowling clubs in Scotland about £32,500. That's a very significant saving right across bowling clubs in Scotland. You need to sell a lot of pints over the bar to make £239 profit, and it's an easy year on year cash saving. All that changes, it's the same water through the same pipes. All that changes is, instead of a bill from Business Stream or one of the other providers, you get a bill from Castle Water. We take over the meter readings, we take over the billing, we take care of the transfer process from start to finish, and you just notice a different bill. In terms of our pricing, very competitive on the market, and we have a price match and price beater promise. So 99.9% of the time, on a genuine quote from a competitor, we'll be able to beat it, no problem at all, and we give that commitment certainly to do that. And with regard to the prices, unless we're instructed to increase the price by the regulator, then we'll hold the wholesale plus margin price for the period of the contract, whether that's 12 months, which is a minimum, 24 or 36 months is a standard contract. So we'll hold that for the period of the contract. All we need from you as a bowling club is your supply point ID, which can be found in a copy of your bill. So if you send us a copy of your bill, we can get that. Or failing that, just the address, or the name of the bowling club, the address and the postcode, and we should be able to find it, find the correct information from that. That gives us access to the Scottish Water database, which provides everything we need to know about your club and its water usage. And from that, we build a proposal to yourself that, if you're happy with, can just be signed, scanned, emailed over, and we take care of the transfer process after that. I think I've covered pretty much everything. For any questions, you can contact me directly on john.duncan@castlewater.co.uk or on my mobile 07921 490 132, and we're very happy to look after you and save you some money. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that overview, John. We've now just got a few questions that we think might be useful for clubs. And the first of those is, how much money can I save?
Bowling clubs typically save about 21% year on year on their bill, which in cash terms is approximately £250 on average. And cumulatively, bowling clubs across Scotland have saved or are saving £32,500 a year across all the clubs that we've transferred. But for individual clubs, the typical year on year cash saving is on average £250 a year. From Castle Water's offices in Ayr and Blairgowrie, our customer service, our billing and our technical services are all based there. So if you have a query as a club around about your bill, or a potential leak, or why is your bill going up, or we're using more water than we used to, then by contacting either through myself or one of our customer service staff that are based in Ayr and Blairgowrie, and we're able to respond. If that means we have to come and visit you, as we do with other clubs where there is a leak or they can't locate their meter or they need some help and assistance, then we're able to do that as well. We're also able to organise through Resource Efficient Scotland a free water and energy audit. They include energy as part of the audit, and that's things like, do you have low flush toilets? Do you have taps that automatically switch off? And they'll prepare a report for you on what more can you do to cut down on your water use. In addition to that, we proactively look at every customer's bill and return to sewer, and that's where you get a reduction on your bill If you have a sprinkler system in place and you use your sprinklers, the waste element makes the most significant part of your bill. So even a small reduction on your return to sewer allowance can make a big difference to your bill, and we proactively do that for all our customers as well. In addition to customers having the choice whether we post or email their bills, very shortly customers will have access to an online portal that will allow them to access all their historic billing information. So whether you wish to compare how much was I paying this month compared to last month, or indeed, what usage in June this year, how did it compare to June 2020 or June 2019, they'll be able to compare all the bills for that. So that will be a very helpful online tool that will be online this side of New Year.
That sounds great. I love that they'll be able to compare to previous years. I think that's really useful for clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Why, because the treasurer might get the question, why did you bill £100 this month when it was £50 in November last year?
Yeah.
And she'll be able to go, well, that's because our usage is up. They might have had some functions, or say, for example, it's a dry summer, so they've been sprinkling more, so just the usage has gone up.
Yeah.
Or, and this happens quite a bit, if they've got a leak but they don't know about it, and the bill will spike.
Yeah.
Then it's a red flag. So it's a useful tool for customers.
I guess especially as well in bowling clubs, because sometimes the administrators are swapping around, so it might be a new treasurer or somebody who's new to the role, and they can just straight away log on and see what happened in previous years at the club.
Absolutely.
It's really helpful.
I absolutely compare all the bills, or rather than hand over the file, they just go, from John to Jim. There you go, there's the login details, and that's as simple as that, and the password.
Yeah, that sounds great. So my next question, John, is something again that you did touch on earlier, but can you beat the price of a current provider?
Quite simply, yes. If it's a bona fide quote based on the correct usage from a provider, then we have a price beater promise in place. That if you provide a copy of the quote and it's a genuine quote, then we'll beat the price. Very happy to do that.
How easy is it to switch? So what's that process look like for a club who's joining up with Castle for the first time?
Okay, it's very easy to switch, and that's part of the attraction, and part of the system that was set up with the regulator is to make it easy for customers to switch from one provider to another. Once we have a contract from yourself, we notify Scottish Water via the regulator and the other supplier that X bowling club is moving to Castle Water. That process usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks, depending when you sign the contract and when the transfer date is. We transfer in the middle of every month, so if we just miss the transfer date, then it would be the following month that we transfer. But it's very easy, and all we ask from you is that you send an email, the contents of which we can provide you to your existing supplier, saying, I now give notice that we're moving to Castle Water, and then we take care of the rest. And the only difference you notice is, instead of getting a bill from Business Stream, who most people tend to still be with, you'll start getting a bill from Castle Water, and the bill will be smaller.
Can you help with return to sewers reassessments from Scottish Water?
Absolutely. Yes, we can, and yes, we do. This is something we do all the time for bowling clubs and for other sports clubs that have a lower return to sewer. What this is if you have sprinklers in place and you're using them, not all the water is going down the drain, some of it's going onto the bowling green, and therefore you're entitled to a discount on your return to sewer. Currently, Scottish Water assume 95% of everything that goes through the meter goes down the drain. If you have sprinklers, then that's closer to 70 or 60 or 50% goes down the drain. So we apply on your behalf. We get you to fill in a very simple one-page form, apply to Scottish Water on your behalf. There is no charge for this. Scottish Water then make a decision on, yes, what is the return to sewer depending on the information you've provided. And we then apply that to your bill. Typically, the return to sewer element or the waste element of your bill is the biggest. So a saving on that element can make a very significant difference to your bill, on top of any saving that we've already delivered. So the big savings tend to be clubs that switch to ourselves and don't have in place a return to sewer allowance. So we proactively look at bowling clubs, and we're going through that process all the time, looking at the bill, looking at the Scottish Water system, and where there is no return to sewer system in place, we are proactively contacting clubs saying, do you have sprinklers? Do you use them? And if they do, then we can start that ball rolling.
Our price is competitive year on year. So for clubs that are already with Castle Water, do they remain competitive?
The short answer to that is yes, they do. Short of the regulator instructing any price changes, then our tariff would remain the same for the 3-year period of the contract, or for the period of the contract, however long it was. Just to give an idea, over the last 6 years, in 3 of the years, there's been no price increase. In the other 3 years, there's been a 2% price increase imposed on the market each year. So it all depends on what the regulator decides to do. But our tariff, notwithstanding the regulatory regime in which we operate, would stay the same for the 3 years. Our quote itself is, and our contract is very much a snapshot in time. Where we're going to be in 3 years, we just don't know. But it's unlikely to be significantly higher or indeed significantly lower, given that we deliver the maximum savings possible at the first time of signing a contract with us. But for most clubs, the contract gets renewed at the same tariff, or perhaps a little bit different up or down. But even just being able to freeze it for 3 years and then another 3 years, actually, if we can keep costs down for clubs, then that's a great thing for them to be able to budget and save them money year on year ongoing.